What's going on, NBA fans? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Central. You got me, one of the Cognac boys, Bobby. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the Phoenix Suns. Now, these guys, they on a nice little run, but the question of the day is, can the Phoenix Suns shock the world by winning an NBA championship? I'm going to talk about it in a little bit more right after this.
Thank you for tuning in to the number one place for your basketball fix, NBA Central, hosted by the Cognac Boys.
All right, y'all. If y'all like what y'all listening to today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, look, we know the Phoenix Suns, they now sit at the 4th spot in the Western Conference in standings. It looks like these guys will more than likely finish there with the Sacramento Kings, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Denver Nuggets right above them. But these guys have been playing well. But before we talk about them playing so well, we do got to understand that there are some concerns surrounding the Phoenix Suns. We have this if we have the concerns if they can actually win a title, especially with the, you know what I'm saying, knowing what these guys have been through, especially your stars when it comes down to injuries, knowing that these guys have a tough challenge ahead of them in the Western Conference playoffs, and just to see, like, hey, is the roster good enough? There's some people, that still have questions. Like, we understand, like, some of the pieces that they got in campaign, Terrence Ross and players of that nature, but there's still, some people questioning whether these guys are good enough or have the best support coming off the bench to help these guys push to try to go and win an NBA championship. We do know that Kevin Durant is the ultimate plug and play guy, though. Like, and I know that you could this is a guy that can really come in. You can just plug him into any system, and he can fit pretty well. He does not demand the ball all the time, but he does give you so much with just the ball in his hands so little of the time. So you ain't got to worry about if this guy can, play in a certain system. He pretty much fits any type of system because his style of play. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna go out there, defend, and play make if need be. But if you need a bucket, you can call on Kevin Durant. Now, there are some more concerns that we got to look into. Devin Booker. Is that hamstring fully healed? Is it good to go? We already know every hamstring injury, you ain't going to get better without rest. You have to rest and let it heal. So that's one of the concerns. Another concern is CP3. Every single year, CP3 is playing spectacular basketball, and then in key moments of the season, in the playoff series, a hand injury happens, a hamstring injury happens, or something like that. And to continue on with more health issues, we have to consider Kevin Durant. His last few years, including his time in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? And even going back to Golden State, there were some concerns whether Kevin Durant can remain healthy for, the rigorous style of play in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that Kevin Durant has missed time during the season, but now as he ages a little bit more and the health injuries continue to pile up, will it be something that this guy can go ahead and do for the duration of the playoffs, or the necessary time it takes for these guys to go ahead and win a championship? Now, we do have to look at things like the word that we hate in Chicago right now, continuity. Continuity is a big thing. You know what I'm saying? We've seen guys come together and it looks good, but when the playoff atmosphere enters the air, or these guys got to play on the road or close out a series, a lot of the times those question marks, those are highlighted and magnified to the point to where that team, whoever it is, they cannot get it done against a team that was constructed together, or is, has a little bit more momentum to finish that series. You know what I'm saying? Because they definitely need the experience with each other. They need to know, okay, in this type of game situation, in a 5 seconds or less game situation, who's going to take the shot? I know from the Kevin Durant that I know and seen done it, he typically is okay with going with the hot hand. There are plenty of times to where you hear stories about him with the Brooklyn Nets, and they like, hey, Kyrie got it going. Kevin Durant's like, get a shot to Kyrie. And that's why I don't think it's going to be a big issue, but it's something you still have to think about. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that bench. Is it deep enough to go ahead and allow your star players to rest a little bit? But I can imagine the way that Monty Williams is going to do it is that you're going to have one of your stars on the floor at all times, whether that's, you know what I'm saying, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, or Chris Paul, or a combination of, one or two, or maybe even three, just to give those other players some rest in key moments. Because I know a lot of the times coaches in the NBA playoffs, they like to, shrink their rotations a little bit and just let the best players have the best opportunity so you can have the best results. So that's what it really is. And I know if these guys do go on to shock the world, it goes against most of everything that we know. Now, we look at Kevin Durant when he joined the Golden State Warriors. They won in year one. But there are other examples, too, to where these guys just didn't have enough time to get it together. Like LeBron James, when he went to the Miami Heat, they struggled a little bit, and they didn't get it done in year one. Kevin Durant in Brooklyn, they've never got it done after all those years. There are many different factors that you have to consider, of course, but at the same time, you still got to say, hey, it just didn't work. So those are just a few examples. Hell, you can even go back to when Charles Barkley went down to Houston and tried to help them and didn't get it done. You know what I'm saying? So can they shock the world? I will say, I don't know, but there is a strong chance. I will keep it a buck. One reason is simply because the Western Conference is wide open. It's wide open. You know what I'm saying? The Phoenix Suns, they right now have won 6 straight games against Philly, Utah, Minnesota, Denver, OKC, and San Antonio. Majority of those teams are in the playoff hunt, except the San Antonio Spurs. Every other team is in the conversation for a playoff spot or have already secured a playoff spot. With Kevin Durant, the Phoenix Suns are 7-0, with Kevin Durant averaging 25 points and 6 rebounds in just 32 minutes of play. 32 minutes of play with the Phoenix Suns. So that tells me that he's going to have the ability to be healthy and be ready to play when it's time to go in those playoffs. Now, another thing that strengthens their case is that these guys have championship experience. You got Kevin Durant as a 2-time NBA champion, a 2-time Finals MVP. Yes, you have DeAndre Ayton on the team, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. They have not won an NBA title, but they do know what it feels like to play in the finals and knows what it takes to win series to reach the finals. That's another big key. And right now, these guys have the 4th seed locked up. I know the first round for them will be tough. We're looking at pretty much the Lakers, Golden State, or the Clippers. And to keep it a buck with you, they can beat all 3 of those teams if everything goes well. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you have to worry about the continuity of the Golden State Warriors, who has done it. They're 4-time champions over there. Exceptional coaching Steve Kerr. You got to worry about that. You got to worry about LeBron James and Anthony Davis when healthy. If they are healthy, that's something you still have to worry about. And yes, the Clippers might be missing Paul George a little bit. They will miss him for this series. If they match up potentially. But you still can't deny that Ty Lue is a hell of a coach, and Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook, you still can't bat an eye at. You still got to show them their respect, and you still got to come out and handle business. Now, if they make it past the first round and they end up matching up against the Denver Nuggets, which what it could potentially be, I don't know if I'm going to be, 100% sold on the Denver Nuggets. I still think that the Phoenix Suns can beat those guys as well, because now you're talking about Jokic, who's an awesome basketball player, and then Kevin Durant. You can cancel those twos out, but the next player being selected is absolutely going to be Devin Booker when you're looking at both teams. And we can go through and pick and choose, but we know when it comes to the top 3 players against in that second round, the Phoenix Suns have the better matchup. So the Western Conference Finals, that's another matchup that could be viewed that we can look at. Now we say all this, can they shock the world? Absolutely. We know that the case has been strengthened, but I think the key to any success for the Phoenix Suns has to come with keeping DeAndre Ayton involved and engaged on both sides of the floor. There is no reason why we should be watching many, many games to where DeAndre Ayton is sealing off smaller defenders and he's not receiving the ball. especially when you talk about a guy who can facilitate the hell out of an offense in CP3. You got to get DeAndre Ayton involved and keep him engaged offensively and defensively if you want to be successful. And that's word to the Phoenix Suns. Now, look, y'all, that's it for the day. I said what I said. I believe they have a strong chance of shocking the world. Some people gonna be like, hey, they only played this many games. You know, they only 7-0 with Kevin Durant right now. You know what I'm saying? They still got a few games left to end the season to build some more continuity. And they've been beating up on teams. But the point is that they are in good hands right now going into the playoffs with momentum with the 6 straight win streak. That's tough. They peaking at the right time, but they also still got to look at other teams, as we just mentioned, because the Lakers are, I believe they won 8 out of their last 9 games or something like that. So you got to show them their respect. It's not going to be an easy road for the Phoenix Suns, but they do have a chance to shock the world. And just to keep it short and plain with y'all. Now, if y'all like everything y'all heard today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box so we can go ahead and chop it up in the comment box so we could talk some basketball. If you want to follow everybody here collectively, send us something on our email at nbacentralshow@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at NBA Central Pod. And if you got any takes on any NBA topic that you want us to address, you got to rebuttal anything that we talked about, send something in, text message or a voicemail to our number, 773-270-2799. This is another episode of NBA Central. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the #1 place for your basketball fix, NBA Central, hosted by the Cognac Boys.